How many times have you played Snooker 19 and been presented with exactly this? Mark Selby winning every single tournament, or at least it feels that way. And you'll see him at the top of the rankings every year, pulling away from the rest of us. Well, not today, because Mark Selby has retired. Hello and welcome to a brand new video and another Snooker 19 experiment. Now, I haven't done one of these for a while. I'm Joe, if you're new around here, by the way, and make sure you click that subscribe button for daily Snooker 19 videos. Now, in a break from normal career mode today, I am posing a question. What happens if Mark Selby retired and wasn't in Snooker 19? Now, at the start of this video, you'll have seen a little montage of things I'm sure will have happened in your Snooker 19 career mode, where Selby tends to win most of the tournaments and is usually comfortably number one. Well, today, he's not going to be taking part in any tournaments because we're going to be taking over the reins of Mark Selby, the jester, and we're not going to play in any tournament whatsoever. We're going to put the difficulty on hard, of course. We'll stick the difficulty on Master Plus and have the match lengths on long, but we're not actually going to play any matches. We are just going to skip the tournaments, and we're going to keep an eye on who exactly wins every tournament. So here we go. The Kaspersky Riga Masters first tournament of the season. Now, obviously what we'll see, Selby down there at number 6 at the moment on this particular career mode, because it is post-patch, and you can see even the top 16 there. Luca Bracel down at 15th. It's a shame, really, that he's not lower in this ranking. But here we go. We're going to just skip every event and see who wins. So let's get into it. Neil Robertson, the winner in 2018, of course. Yushan World Open there as well. Mark Williams won that. So here we go, the first winner, with Selby not in the tournament, remember, who will get to the final at the very least. Well, straight away we've got a bit of a shocking result. We have got Barry Hawkins, the Hawk, versus Mr. Judd Trump, the world champion, of course. So here we go, let's get ready. Judd Trump wins 5-0. So keep a note of this. If you are keeping notes along at home, I will go back through this and make my own notes on this. So Judd Trump wins the first tournament of the season. I want to see who the new dominating force is going to be. Second tournament of the year, Ronnie O'Sullivan versus Neil Robertson. And it's Ronnie that wins it by 10-5. So 2 tournaments already gone in this career mode. So there you go, Matt Selt, defending champion in India. We've got the European Masters as well. So here we go. Paul Hunter Classic. Who's going to win this one? Who's in the final? Ronnie O'Sullivan and Mark Williams. And Ronnie wins it 4-1. So that's now 2 tournaments that Ronnie has won. Let's just have a little look at the rankings, see if anything drastic has changed here. Obviously, Ronnie's still leading the way at the top of the rankings. Bracel now down to 16. Ali Carter hot on his heels at 17. So we'll keep an eye on that. Obviously, there is going to be a new member of the top 16 at the end of all this, because Selby is going to drop like a fly. Here is the 6-Red World Championship now. Who's going to win this one? Barry Hawkins versus Neil Robertson. Now, I am thrilled to see how different some of these results are to what you generally see in career modes. And it's Neil Robertson that wins the 6-Red World Championship by 8-3. Shanghai Masters then, first invitational event of the season. Obviously, only the top 16 plus the best 8 Chinese players invited to this tournament. So here we go. Kyron Wilson versus Judd Trump in the final, and it's Judd Trump 11-1. He beats the Warrior in that final, but I'm so impressed at how variable the results have been so far. So here we go. Indian Open, Judd Trump versus Mark Williams. And it's Judd Trump 5-4. He's won 3 events so far this season, I believe. Now the China Championship. You can see Mark Selby on the promotional pictures. They've obviously not got the memo that he's retired now. But here we go. Ronnie versus Mark. And Mark Williams wins his first 10 frames to 7. We will have a quick check of the rankings as well after this tournament. So here we go. Mark Selby still in 6th place. That's ridiculous. Neil Robertson up to number 4 there. You can see Ronnie O'Sullivan still leading the way at the top of the standings. Kyron Wilson into 8th place. Jack Lazowski in the top 10 now. Luca Brissell still in 16th, hanging on to that position. I am interested to see whether he will drop down. I've just seen Ricky Walden, by the way, up into 30th place. I feel like he's usually down in the mid-30s. Any big surprises down there? I don't think so. I think that's a roundabout right. Okay, let's keep going. So the European Masters, and it's Ronnie versus Neil. Ronnie wins it 9 frames to 7. So Ronnie could be the new dominant force here. And now here's the English Open. Williams versus Allen. Williams wins it 9 frames to 5. And the World Snooker International Championship, but one of the bigger tournaments of the year. O'Sullivan versus Williams seems like a common final that you get, and O'Sullivan winning again 10 frames to 5 this time as we go into the Champion of Champions. And look, Selby has now dropped to number 7 in the world. You can see Ronnie, Mark, Judd, Robertson, Higgins and Allen are in the top 6. Still no change down below though, although Ali Carter is catching up to Luca Brissell, so it'll be interesting to see if he can fully manage that. So the Champion of Champions, here we go. Judd Trump versus Ronnie, and Ronnie wins it 10 frames to 6. Ronnie's on a roll this season so far. Northern Ireland Open coming up now, 2nd Home Nations event. Ronnie versus Mark again, and Ronnie wins it in a decider 9 frames to 8. First Triple Crown event of the season then. Betway UK Championship, of course. Surprise, surprise, it's Mark Williams versus Ronnie O'Sullivan in the final. And Ronnie wins it again. This is insane how well Ronnie is doing so far. We're down to number 8 in the world. We'll have another rankings check after the first big event of the season. So you can see Karen's moved to 7. Now Ronnie's pulling away a little bit from Mark Williams at the top, 400,000 ahead. Jack Lazowski up to 9 now, Barry Hawkins 10. So I think Ding might have dropped down a bit. Sean Murphy has dropped like a fly as well. He's down to 16th. Brissell must have had a good tournament along the line. And then you can see as we go down, it's fairly similar to what it was before. So now Scottish Open, 3rd Home Nations event of the season. And it's Neil Robertson versus Mark Williams, and Mark Williams wins by 9 frames to 7. German Masters, see how we get on in that tournament. Championship League, so Ronnie versus Brissell. Ronnie wins 3-0. Number 2, Hawkins versus Williams, and Williams wins 3-1. So here we go, Daffabet Masters. Who's going to come out on top in the 2nd Triple Crown event of the season? Obviously doesn't have an effect on the rankings. But it's O'Sullivan versus Wilson in the final. That's such a surprise that Wilson has got to a Triple Crown final this soon into the career. But Ronnie wins it 10-6. Ronnie is having an amazing season. He's on for the 3 Triple Crown events in a single season, which would be amazing if he could pull it off. Judd Trump versus Sean, nothing in that Championship League. Robertson versus Hawkins, deciding frame, and Robertson wins it. So here's the German Masters then. Obviously Anthony Hamilton won it a couple of years ago. Kyron Wilson is the defending champion, but it's either going to be Trump or Robertson. And it's Trump 9-8, so close. That could have been a bit of a career changer, if you like, for Neil Robertson. I feel like he needs a big ranking tournament victory. You can see Sean Murphy's the one that's dropping out of the top 16 now. Coral World Grand Prix. Now we shouldn't be in this event because we haven't got any points on the 1-year list, but as you can see, we have. And Higgins appears for the first time in the career mode, but he can't get past the rocket. He loses 10-8 in the final of the Coral World Grand Prix. So here's the Welsh Open then. The final Home Nations event. John Higgins versus Neil Robertson. Robertson is the defending champion, and Robertson continues 9-4. He beats the Wizard of Wishaw. So here we go, the Championship League then. John Higgins versus Jack Lazowski. Higgins finally wins a trophy in this season. Championship League 6. Bingham versus Lazowski. And Lazowski wins by 3 frames to 1 in that tournament. Now then, the shootout should, in theory, be the most mixed up tournament of the season. You can see Ronnie O'Sullivan still leading the way. Kyron Wilson still in 7th there. Robertson still 4th, but closing in on the Million Club. Once again, Sean Murphy dropping down the rankings in terms of money. Obviously, somebody is getting into the top 16. Into the last 16 that isn't usually in that stage, and it looks like it's Carter more often than not. Maybe Ryan Day is getting through as well. They're just creeping up to that top 16 at the moment. So here we go for the snooker shootout. Who is going to win it? Judd Trump or Neil Robertson? It's a 1-frame shootout, and Neil Robertson beats Judd Trump by 1 frame to 0. So that's another 32,000 into the kitty for him. We skip the Coral Players Players Championship, and David Gilbert is in the final. That is a fantastic finalist to see. That is exactly what we want to see. And if Dave Gilbert can somehow get past Mark Williams here, again, this could be huge for the rankings. Look at this. Dave Gilbert is in 12th. If he wins 150 grand for this tournament, he will move up to 8th, which just completely changes the complexion of everything. And Sean Murphy's still dropping down the prize money. Go on, David. Oh, he doesn't manage it. 10-4. Mark Williams wins that event. Gibraltar Open then, one of the smaller tournaments of the season. Obviously Ryan Day defending champion. Ronnie O'Sullivan now taking on Mark Williams, and he wins it 4 frames to 3. Ronnie got a 147 there as well. So we've now got the Tour Championship. Now we're not in it, so in theory that place goes to Jack Lazowski. So could that change his career if he can do well in that tournament? Gilbert up to 10th. Hawkins back down to 11th now. Bingham, Maguire, Brissell and Murphy are making up the last few spots. Obviously Ali Carter seems to have dropped down in terms of money for the last few events. He was sort of just over 300,000 at some point this season, so maybe Murphy's safe for now. But you'd think we're going to drop down pretty soon after the World Championship anyway. But here we go, Coral Tour Championship. Robertson versus Trump. Robertson wins. A big tournament that for Robertson to win in a decider. I'd expect that he's now gone up to number 2 in the world. Number 3 in the world. He's gone above Trump. So there you go. Lazowski into the top 8 now. Gilbert close to follow. There you have it. So, Championship League 7. Usually get some weird players in this one. Mark Allen versus Luca Brissell. Both players haven't done a lot in the tour in the career mode so far, but Mark Allen wins that. Championship League winners. Williams versus Higgins, and Williams wins. So now the China Open, the penultimate event of the season. So here we go. So Neil Robertson versus Ronnie O'Sullivan for the final of the China Open. £225,000 on offer here. And Neil Robertson wins it 10 frames to 9 in the end. That is a huge victory for Neil Robertson in the final. 10-9 he beats Ronnie. And that's again more money for good old Neil to put into the prize pot. And he's closing in on Mark Williams now, isn't he? Just looking down, not really anything else going on in the rankings. We're down to number 11 now with Selby. So here we go, let's skip the World Championship. Who's going to be in the final? Judd Trump versus Ronnie O'Sullivan. Now, Ronnie has been dominating the season, and he has the chance to win all 3 Triple Crown events in 1 year. Who's going to do it? Ronnie does it. He beats Trump 18-5. What a massive victory that is for Ronnie, and that's going to do him wonders in the rankings. As you can see, once we continue on here, and there's our season. As we go into season 2, you can see the rankings now. Ronnie into the 2 million club now. Ding Junhui must have done decently in that tournament, because he's now up to 8th, where Jack Klosowski was. He's dropped down to 10th now. Dave Gilbert into the top 10. Not much else has happened. Carter has got a decent amount of prize money, but so has Murphy. So, yeah, some decent movement there. We'll just slightly go down the top 30 and have a little look if there's anything that we've noticed down here. I certainly haven't noticed anything. I'm sure you guys can let me know either way. But let's get into season 2 then. Only took about 15 minutes to get through the first season, so we'll rattle through this next season, because obviously Selby's now going to drop right out of the picture in terms of the top 16. Trump versus Williams, first event of the season, and Judd Trump wins, so he defends his title 5 frames to 1. Yusham World Open, Neil Robertson versus Mark Williams. Now obviously O'Sullivan won it last year, he's not going to win it this year, because Mark Williams has won it 10 frames to 9. So you can see our ranking, we're now 16th in the world, so we are going to drop out of that top 16. So there you go. Just skipping on here past these qualifiers. We've got the Paul Hunter Classic. Now Ronnie won this last year, and he hasn't got the chance to do it this year. Williams versus Trump. And Williams wins it 4 frames to 2, and as you can see, we have now dropped out of the top 16. Mark Selby is now 17th on the rankings. Ali Carter is the lucky recipient of the 16th position, and you can see Ryan Day a long way behind in 18th, so it looks like Carter's going to be there to stay, but it'll be interesting to see if he then features in finals, maybe at some point in the season. So 6 reds. Ronnie versus Trump, and Trump wins 8-6. Next tournament, Shanghai Masters. Williams versus Trump, and Trump wins again. Trump dominating this season so far. Let's have a little look at the rankings. Trump 4th on the list. But Ronnie's still way out in front at the top of those rankings. So, Indian Open, Trump versus Ronnie, and Trump wins again, 5-4. This certainly seems like the year of Judd Trump. Williams versus Ronnie in the China Championship, and Williams wins. Ronnie is going through a bit of a rut at the moment. Now the European Masters, Ronnie versus Trump, and Ronnie wins this time 9 frames to 6. English Open, first home nations event of the year. Trump versus Higgins. Trump wins 9-7. Now the International Championship, Ding Junhui, the centre stage. Mark Allen plays Ronnie, but Ronnie wins 10-3. As we move down to 20th in the world now. Mark Selby's not going to be best pleased if he's watching this video. Champion of Champions then. Ronnie O'Sullivan versus Mark Williams. And Mark Williams wins 10-4. Quite a comfortable victory there in the end. Northern Ireland Open. Ding gets to the final. First time we've seen him in a final. And wow, he got so close to beating Judd Trump there. So Betway UK Championship. Ronnie, defending champion, doesn't get a chance to defend it this time. And Neil Robertson wins his first Triple Crown event as we drop to 32 in the world. Wow. Mark Selby, 32 in the world. Never thought you'd see the day, did you? You can see Ricky Walden up there. Joe Perry's now gone above Ryan Day. And Ali Carter still a little bit disconnected from the rest of the top 16, but there you have it. Neil Robertson still hasn't managed to overtake Mark Williams just yet, but remember, Williams has a lot of ranking points to come off for the World Championship this year, so keep an eye on that. John Higgins now versus Ronnie O'Sullivan in the final of the Scottish Open, and Higgins wins it 9-7. German Masters coming up, but not before the Championship League. Ding versus Ronnie. Ding wins 3-2. Well played to Ding. Mark Williams versus Ronnie. Ronnie gets through this time. So Dafabet Masters, and we're not in the top 16, so I don't even have to worry about entering this tournament. Obviously Carter got the 16th position. So Mark Allen versus Mark Williams. Mark Williams wins 10-4. So Championship League 3. Gilbert versus Robertson. Gilbert wins it. Well played, Dave. 3-2. He wins that Championship League. Mark Williams wins that Championship League as well. I'm not that bothered about the Championship Leagues. They don't tell you a lot. But here we go, German Masters. Williams versus O'Sullivan. 9-2. Ronnie. Wow. Coral World Grand Prix. Somehow we scrape into that tournament. We won't scrape into any of the other big events. So there you go. Neil Robertson taking on Mark Williams. He wins it 10 frames to 9. Very, very good from Neil. Surely he's gone up to number 2 by now as we drop out of the top 32 now in this career mode. Carter still disconnected. I'm a little disappointed at that. I thought he might have caught up to Sean Murphy, and maybe over time he will. But Robertson's still not quite second in the world just yet. So Welsh Open. Robertson versus Wilson, and Wilson wins it 9-5. Well played to Kyron Wilson, and a good tournament to win. Higgins beats Trump. Trump started this season brilliantly, like he did last year as well. But Neil Robertson seems to be doing a lot better in this career mode than certainly I've seen in my career mode. But here we go. Snooker shootout. Over 1 frame. Judd Trump versus Mark Williams. And it's Judd Trump that wins it. Always makes me laugh, that one. Coral Players Championship then. Top 16 players of the season. Trump versus Robertson as we drop down to 60 in the world. And Judd Trump wins it 10 frames to 5. So Gibraltar Open. Who's going to win this one? Robertson or Williams? Williams wins. It's such a battle there for number 2 in the world. Obviously Ronnie quite a bit ahead at the moment of Mark Williams, but Robertson and Williams just dicing it out. Trump's up there as well. Higgins has dropped way down to 600,000 now. Wilson very much established in that top 8. Gilbert there in 9th. Not much happening down below. As I say, I'm a bit disappointed that Ali Carter's not managing to get more out of these tournaments. So here we go. Coral Tour Tour Championship. And it's Neil Robertson again who wins it. He's winning the big tournaments, and I think he's going to be a big favourite for the World Championship. Trump versus Hawkins. Not quite. And now the Championship League winners. Ronnie versus Trump. Ronnie wins it. Well played. Now the China Open. Now we haven't qualified for this apparently. I don't remember skipping the qualifiers. Maybe we did. Was there a China Open qualifier? I'm not sure. I don't see where the China Open qualifiers are. It doesn't say in the season where it is. Maybe it's just the top 64 that qualify. But here we go. Who's going to be in the final? Ronnie versus Trump. And Ronnie wins 10 frames to 6s. Mark Selby now drops to dead last. 128 in the rankings. And there you go. There's the qualifiers. Skip those. Mark King got the high break there with 110. So the World Championship, the last tournament that we're going to do in this video. We may continue on this save if you guys want to see it. We can see Mark Selby dead last. He's dropped out of the tour now. It's all about these top 16. So O'Sullivan leading the way. Williams is going to lose about 500,000. You can see Neil Robertson has now took over second place. And we're looking down there. Carter dropping out of the 300,000 club again, but look how close Murphy is now to dropping below Ali Carter. It's going to be super interesting what happens at this World Championship. So here we go. Wow! So Mark Williams can claw back his 500,000. Ronnie is out. He's not a feature, but Ding Junhui has got to the final here. Now, where is Ding on the rankings list? Let's have a look. 8. With 500,000, he would go up to number 5. This could be a big one. I think whatever happens, Ding is going to go up to at least number 6, probably. But here we go. It was Mark Williams. I really wanted Ding to win that, but Mark Williams wins his 4th World Championship and clings on to that £500,000. So there you have it. The end of the second season of Snooker 19 in this little experiment video. Ronnie O'Sullivan still top of the leaderboard. Mark Williams there in 2nd. Neil Robertson in 3rd. Judd Trump 4th. Ding Junhui moves up to 6th, as I suspected. So it'll be interesting to see if he features any more in the sort of end of the tournaments. You can see Sean Murphy and Ali Carter must have had decent tournaments. They've got a good amount of prize money there. Luca Brissell still somehow in the top 16. It is funny how those things work out, but you can see that top 32 hasn't changed too much. It is disappointing that the rankings don't really change, you know, that much throughout the career mode. Peter Ebden up to 38, so maybe he had a decent World Championship. But yeah, you can see as we go down, not a lot going on. Jimmy White 104, and then Mark Selby 128. So that is where we're going to leave it for today. I really hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video, and if you have, and if you want to see more, then let me know. But leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel for daily Snooker 19 videos, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.